What's up, everybody? Crypto Noah back with another yield farming video covering another money market platform. You're probably wondering, I just did Morpho. Why is he covering all these money market platforms? Well, it's getting to be that time where it's time to start levering up, right? And I prefer to use decentralized leverage versus, trusting my money on an exchange. So I'm trying to cover all the good money market platforms. So in this video, we're going to be covering SparkDAO. Per usual, we're going to go to the docs. We're going to go through some of their analytics. We're going to do a platform walkthrough. And at the end, I'm going to tell you if I would use the platform or not and why. So without further ado, let's jump straight into the video, starting off with the docs. All right, so here we are. Welcome to Spark. And it says Spark is on a mission to empower the DAI ecosystem as a part of the MakerDAO community. As you guys know, DAI stablecoin, all the DAI that's on the market, you had to borrow against your ETH. So for every DAI there's double the amount of ETH in a vault that people borrow against. And that's why if you look on DeFi Llama, Maker is number 4 with a $7 billion TVL, right? Because DAI is a pretty big stablecoin. It's the third largest stablecoin, I believe, under USDC and USDT. So you have SparkLend, which is a DAI-centric money market protocol and combines the best liquidity directly from Maker and vertically integrating it with the best DeFi protocols. More on that later. SDAI is a yield-bearing stablecoin. So it's almost like a savings account representing DAI and the DAI savings rate module, DSR, which distributes revenue from the Maker protocol to DAI holders. So just like you hold US dollars in a savings account, it's the same thing when you are holding SDAI. And then you have Spark conduits, and they allow for direct liquidity from Maker to protocols as a part of the overall Maker allocation system. And Spark is a Maker allocator sub-DAO that owns and manages Spark through decentralized governance. So you can think of Maker as the umbrella and Spark is like a subsidiary. So you got your FAQs where it goes over the risk, smart contract risk, counterparty risk, liquidation risk. It's typical of a money market platform, scams and fake accounts. So you want to make sure you're clicking the actual link, spark.fi, bookmark it so you don't have to type it in, right? And it tells you what to be aware of. What is SparkLend? It's a decentralized non-custodial liquidity market protocol where users can participate as suppliers or borrowers. Pretty typical. It's like Compound or Aave, just doing it a little different. Why SparkLend? So it's been audited and secured. The protocol is completely open source, which allows anyone to interact with the user interface client, API, or directly with the smart contract on the ETH network. It tells you how to interact with SparkLend, the cost of interacting, where the supplied funds are stored, and they're stored in a smart contract, right? So not with some person. You can withdraw your funds from the pool on demand, assuming it's enough liquidity, right? Go over what SDAI is. We kind of already talked about that. We talked about the sub-DAO. So let's keep going here. All right, let's talk about this SDAI a little bit more. So we already said, by holding it, you make money from the fees that Maker makes. That's a tongue twister. So what is the DAI savings rate, or DSR? It's a feature of the Maker protocol that enables any DAI holder to earn a savings rate on their DAI. It's paid out in DAI, and it does not automatically earn savings. You must activate the DSR by depositing DAI into the DAI savings rate contract. Almost like, let's say you have Wells Fargo. Like on my Wells Fargo, I have a checking account and my savings account. This is almost like saying that once you put it in the savings account, then it's starting to earn the yield. Same thing here. The DAI is not locked and it can always be instantly withdrawn. The DAI savings rate is funded by the borrowing fees accrued by the Maker protocol. So I'd imagine they can't be too bad if it's number 4 protocol in DeFi. And you can always find the DAI savings rate on the cash and savings page in the Spark app. And it says it's restricted here, so I'm going to turn on my VPN, and now I should be able to check this out. So right now it's 7%, but I guess they detected that I have a VPN, but hey, at least we got to see it. All right, so now we go into SparkLend, and this is essentially the application where you can, supply assets and get a yield on them. Use them as collateral to borrow. And they talk about the different modes that they have for capital efficiency. So it says we allow users to optimize their assets supplied to the SparkLend in terms of yield generation and borrowing power. So they have efficiency mode, or E mode, and this allows borrowers to extract the highest borrowing power out of their collateral when supplied and borrowed assets are correlated in price, particularly when both are derivatives of the same underlying asset. Example, stablecoins pegged to USDC. So using USDC as collateral to borrow Tether, etc. But you got to be careful because sometimes stablecoins can break the peg. And we saw that with USDC. I actually almost got liquidated when that happened. Anyways, then they have isolation mode. So new assets can be listed as isolated. Borrowers supplying an isolated asset as collateral cannot supply other assets as collateral, though they can still apply to capture yield. Borrowers using an isolated collateral can only borrow stablecoins that have been permitted by the maker governance to be borrowable in isolation mode up to a specific debt ceiling. Then you have siloed borrowing, and this allows assets with potentially manipulatable oracles to be listed on Spark as single borrow assets, i.e., if a user borrows a siloed asset, they cannot borrow any other asset. This helps mitigating the risk associated with such assets from impacting the overall solvency of the protocol. And then they have their risk management. So they have an improved set of risk parameters and new features to protect the protocol from insolvency. So they have supply and borrow caps. Borrow caps allow to modulate how much of an asset can be borrowed, which reduces insolvency risk. Same with supply. They have granular borrowing power control. So it'll be possible to lower the borrowing power of any asset as low as 0% without any impact on existing borrowers. They have risk admins. So this introduces the ability for maker governance to grant entities permission to update the risk parameters with going through a governance vote for every change. These entities can be DAOs or automated agents that can build on top of this feature to react automatically in case of unanticipated events. And then they have these other things: price oracles, sentinel, variable liquidation, close factor, decentralization. You can tell they're foreigners how they spell decentralization. Decentralization is zation, motherfuckers. I'm just kidding. And then they go on to show how to supply, which is pretty standard, how to borrow, all the modes that we've talked about, flash loans, etc., etc. So, cool thing about this protocol is you can get a guaranteed airdrop. Now, some of them have already been unlocked, but some of them haven't. So, what is SPK? This is the governance token of the DAO. Has it launched yet? Well, I think these docs are not updated because it said has not been launched, but it talks about the pre-farming airdrop. So it says how many are going to be distributed. Season 1 was August 20th, 2023 to May 20th, 2024, which is a few months ago. But season 2 is May 20th till the sub DAO launch. I'm not sure if they launched already, but it tells you 6.66 million SPK will be rewarded per month to users who qualify for the airdrop. 80% is allocated to users borrowing DAI. 20% is allocated to users supplying ETH. So if you want to get an airdrop, all you have to do is borrow some DAI and supply some ETH. Not too bad. And then it says, what will the total supply be? It gives you all of that. And it gives you the yearly amount of tokens that will be coming onto the market. And it gives you the emission schedule. And it tells you how to qualify every way you can qualify. So supply, wrap, stake, ETH, borrow DAI, supply, wrapped, rocket pool, ETH, borrow DAI, etc., etc. How much you'll earn, which geographies qualify, which networks qualify, where can I see? This is all stuff. They got it pretty detailed, which is good. And if we look at their socials, Discord has 4,000 members, 305 online. Not too bad, but not crazy. And then if we look at their Twitter, they only have 8,700 followers, which, isn't too crazy, but it is a money market platform. But they get a good amount of interaction, 15 comments, 97 likes. Well, this is a pinned tweet, so I can see why. So, yeah, it's pretty average, I would say. Pretty average in terms of the Twitter. So now that we went through the docs, let's check them out on DeFi Llama. So if we scroll down, you can see that they are number 11. They are on Ethereum and Gnosis, formerly XDAI. And if we click on it, you can see that they have $3.1 billion in total value locked. And the fact that they're a subsidiary of Maker, that's a pretty big stamp of approval from one of the largest DeFi protocols. So if we go to their website, you can see, they have some pretty cool graphics. I like the vibe of the site. Read the docs, which we just went through. It shows how they're integrated with other protocols. So Masari is data analytics. Aave is obviously Aave, ZK Sync, Chainlink. So I'm imagining they're using their oracles, using the graph, Polygon. So pretty cool. Their audits look good as well. It says a lot when a project is getting a lot of audits because it says that they're serious. And It shows you how it's integrated with the maker system and protocols and things like that. And I'm gonna try to turn on my VPN and launch the app again, but I doubt I'll be able to look at it. But we'll give it a whirl. Launch app. Almost. So now that we went through the docs, I'm sorry I couldn't do the website walkthrough. I guess they got the VPN jam on lock, but would I use this protocol or not, and why? So obviously I wouldn't, because even the VPN won't let me. That's the first time that's happened. Normally you can bypass that kind of thing with the VPN, but let's say I was able to look at it and everything looked good. Only reason I would use it, because I don't really hold DAI. I prefer to hold USDC. You know, I feel like USDC is like the regulated government stablecoin. It has more applications on DeFi protocols. Usually people, when they have stablecoins interacting on that application, Tether and USDC is the first one, then DAI. And then also, I would just prefer to use Radiant, to be honest. I get paid to borrow. I'm familiar with it. Only reason I would use this is to take advantage of the airdrops that they're talking about here. That would be the only reason. But the audits look good. You know, they have that stamp of approval from Maker. You know, I do like DAI as a stablecoin long term, but it's just that stablecoins is one of those things where I feel like it's only going to be one long term. It's not like, oh, most industries have 3 competitors. Everyone else is kind of just competing with them. I don't know if stablecoins is going to be like that, but if I had to put my money on it, I would say no. So guys, if you like this kind of content and you want to learn how to generate yield in DeFi with professional coaches and some extremely intelligent community members who all have each other's best interests, click the link in the description, book a free strategy session. You'll talk to me or one of our coaches, and we'll answer any questions you have and see if our platform is a good fit for you. But other than that, I'd like to conclude this video. If you got value, I ask you to consider subscribing, drop a like, drop a comment, share with a friend. Let me know what money market platform you want me to cover next. But other than that, thank you so much for tuning in. I love every single one of you watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care and trade safe.